Sugarfrost Horror Stories presents Story 4, Past Due. I used to think rock bottom was something only addicts or gamblers talked about. But rock bottom is waking up on a stained couch at 2 p.m. in total darkness because you couldn't pay the electric bill. It's resting your head on a stack of unopened bills, using them like a pillow, while your last text is from your landlord saying you're out by the end of the week. 3 years ago, I was doing fine. I was managing a creative team at a marketing agency. Not rich, not famous, but I could buy my own drinks and still save a little each month. Then came the layoffs, then the temporary freelance gigs, then the missed rent, late notices, endless calls, and finally the silence. The kind of silence where even your debt collectors give up. That night, I was sitting on the floor of my apartment, eating canned corn straight from the tin. No stove, no microwave, no job, and no reason to be optimistic. The lights were off, the cold air clung to everything, and my phone was clinging to life at 3%. The Wi-Fi was cut off. Even doom scrolling wasn't an option. Then came the knock. 3 knocks, measured, sharp, almost rehearsed. I opened the door expecting a neighbor, maybe the landlord. A man in a black suit stood there. He didn't look surprised to see me. It was as if he'd been waiting. He was dressed too perfectly. No umbrella, even though rain had just started. His suit looked dry. His skin looked powdered. His eyes like marbles that had been painted over to look human. Something about him was off. Like a mannequin someone taught to stand still. He handed me a thick black envelope. Didn't say a word. Just extended it like he was offering an invitation to dinner. Then he turned and walked away. No sound. No footsteps. No elevator. He just disappeared into the dim hallway. Inside the envelope was a contract, guaranteed wealth in 30 days. Just sign and return. Payment collected upon maturity. It was printed on heavy, almost warm paper, like it absorbed the heat from your fingertips and didn't let it go. It felt ancient, important, tied to something old and binding. Stapled to the back was a photo of me, sitting in a luxury apartment I'd never seen before. Wearing designer clothes I didn't own, I was smiling. Behind me, blurry but unmistakable, was the man in black. I should have burned it, ripped it, tossed it. I didn't. I signed day 1. My phone buzzed before I even opened my eyes. A notification. Bank app. I almost didn't check, thinking it would just remind me of my overdraft again. But instead, I saw it. $25,000. No explanation. Just listed as private benefactor. My first thought? A glitch, or some rich scam that was going to backfire on me. But I checked again and again. Real money. Withdrawable. Movable. Then I noticed the smell. Not the usual mildew or faint mold clinging to the carpet. Something savory, warm, like roasted garlic and bread. My fridge, which was completely empty last night, was full, overflowing. Fresh vegetables, rare cheeses, imported snacks, expensive wines, perfectly plated desserts. No receipt, no delivery note. Just perfectly arranged like someone had organized it with care. Even the brands I used to daydream about back when I had a job. I ate slowly, almost suspiciously. Every bite felt unreal, like I was trespassing on someone else's life. When I finally sat back down, stomach full for the first time in weeks, I caught myself smiling. Then I remembered the contract and the photo. It was only day 1. Day 2. There was a knock at the door. Not sharp like the man in wearing all black, just hurried, nervous. It was my landlord, Mr. Rollins, a guy who usually looked me in the eye just long enough to remind me of late rent before walking off. But today, he looked different, pale, confused. "Hey," he said, scratching his head. "So, there's been a mistake. I mean, maybe not a mistake, but your rent, it's all paid. Through next year." He held up a stack of paperwork like he needed proof for himself. "Someone wired a full year's payment. No name, no info, just your unit number." I blinked. "You're sure?" He nodded slowly. "Yeah, sure. But, I mean, how?" He kept glancing down the hallway, like someone had followed him. Or maybe like he'd been told to come here and just now realized it. I just smiled and said thanks. He didn't respond, just turned and left without another word. For the first time in months, I shut the door without fear of eviction. And then I noticed it. My lock. New. Upgraded. Reinforced from the inside. I didn't call anyone to do that. Day 3. I was cleaning up my inbox, deleting thousands of unread newsletters, final warnings, job rejections, when I saw it. No subject, no sender name, just a single email. Inside it said, "Position offered, creative director. Salary, $190,000 per year plus benefits. Start date, immediate. No interview necessary. Click to accept." I stared for a full minute, then clicked. A loading screen popped up, a spinning icon, then nothing. The tab closed on its own. I typed in the company name. Nothing. I searched my inbox. No email. Gone. But 10 minutes later, I got a calendar notification. Welcome orientation. Monday at 9 a.m. Location to be announced. I laughed, nervously. Was I dreaming this? Later that night, I got another email. This one just said, "You've earned this. Keep going." Day 4. The doorbell rang. No knock, just one soft chime. At my feet sat a package. Matte black, seamless edges, heavier than it looked. Inside, a brand new phone. Not just the latest model, something ahead of its time. I didn't recognize the brand, but the screen came alive the moment I touched it. No setup screen, no language choice. It was already logged in. My photos, my emails, my apps, even messages I'd deleted. But there were extras too, apps I didn't remember installing. One of them simply called Observe, another called Echo, and something stranger, under Notes, a document was already open. It said, "A better life, piece by piece. Stay grateful. Stay silent." I tossed the phone on the couch. 10 seconds later it buzzed. A text from a number I didn't recognize. "Hope you're enjoying the upgrade." One step closer. I didn't respond. I plugged in my old phone. It didn't turn on. Day 5. I woke up to a dozen notifications. Every text I sent yesterday had been replied to. People I hadn't spoken to in years suddenly remembered me. Old classmates, old flames, co-workers I thought had forgotten I existed. All texting like no time had passed. One message stood out. "You're glowing lately, it suits you." It was from an ex I hadn't spoken to in 2 years. She'd blocked me after our messy breakup. Yet here she was, chatting, casual. I looked in the mirror. She was right. My skin looked clearer, my eyes brighter. I looked rested, even though I'd barely slept. Another message came in, from a coworker I used to admire but never got close to. "Hey, random, but I had a dream about you. You were different, important, like you'd changed." I turned the phone off, but I could still feel it buzz in my hand. Day 6. I opened my eyes to music. Not my alarm, not even anything I recognized. It was faint, like a music box spinning behind a wall. I followed the sound to my living room. My new phone was playing a soft lullaby through the speaker, though no app was open. It stopped the moment I touched the screen. Then came a chime, a new notification. No words, just a timestamp. Day 6, rest well. You'll need it. I didn't rest. I couldn't. There was something strange about the air in my apartment, charged like the moment before a thunderstorm. Every shadow seemed to ripple a little longer than it should. Around 4 a.m., I noticed a faint scratch on the wall near my front door. I hadn't seen it before. A single line, etched in cleanly, curving slightly at the end like a hook. When I touched it, it was warm. Day 7. I stepped outside for the first time in days. The moment I did, my neighbor, Mrs. Cormer, who usually pretends not to see me, gave me a cheerful wave. "Morning, sweetheart. I just wanted to say, you're looking so refreshed lately. Radiant." She'd never said more than 2 words to me before. I smiled awkwardly and kept walking. I passed a man in a charcoal coat standing by the mailboxes. He didn't check his mail. He just stood still, watching me. When I glanced again, he was gone. At the corner cafe, the barista handed me a coffee before I could order. "On the house. It's your day." I didn't ask what she meant. I just took it. Back at home, I noticed something new on the kitchen wall. A small metal plate, screwed in cleanly, flush with the paint. It said, 7 days, phase 1 complete. When I tried to unscrew it, it shocked me. Just a quick zap, but enough to make me stop. Day 8. Everything went quiet. No texts, no emails, no buzz from the phone. Even the air in my apartment felt muffled, like I was living inside cotton. I tried watching TV, but nothing would play. I tried streaming, browsing, but nothing loaded. Every screen was just static until 8:08 p.m. Then, just for a second, my TV blinked to life. A grainy image, a man's silhouette seated in a chair. Behind him, red curtains. He leaned forward, and though his face was obscured, I swear I recognized the shape of his jaw. It looked like mine. He said one thing: "Phase 2 begins now." Then the screen went dark. My lights flickered. A knock at the window on the 12th floor. I didn't sleep. Day 9. I received a letter, actual paper, slipped under my door in an envelope with no stamp or name. Inside, a contract. At the top, continued patronage agreement. Below, a list of bullet points. Each one felt like a warning disguised as a gift. You will not question the source of your fortune. You will not seek others bound by this contract. You will not attempt to leave the area during the next 21 days. You will not interfere with Phase 2. You will remain grateful. At the bottom, a red fingerprint. Not mine. I flipped the paper over. There was a photo of me sleeping, taken last night. The angle was from above, day 10. I tried to call someone, my sister. I hadn't spoken to her in months. I needed a real voice, something familiar. She answered on the first ring, but it wasn't her voice. It was me. "You're doing well," the voice said. My voice, calm, reassuring. "Don't ruin this." Then a soft click. My hand shook as I dropped the phone. I went to the bathroom to splash water on my face. When I looked up at the mirror, my reflection didn't move. It just smiled. Day 11. There was a new folder on my laptop labeled Confessions. I didn't put it there. Inside were dozens of audio files, all time-stamped over the last 10 days. I clicked the first. It was my voice, whispering. He doesn't know we're watching. He thinks this is luck. He thinks he's chosen. Another file, then another, all me, saying things I didn't remember, laughing in ways I'd never laughed. I tried deleting the folder. The screen went black for 5 seconds, then flashed a message. Tampering detected. Detour initiated. A knock at the door. Not loud, just one. When I opened it, no one was there. but the hallway light flickered, and the scratch on the inside of my door had multiplied. There were now 11 hooks etched in a spiral, day 12. I found an old photo album I hadn't touched in years. It was on my kitchen table. I didn't put it there. The first few pages were normal. Family, old birthdays, a trip to the mountains. Then I saw a picture of my apartment, taken from outside looking in through my living room window at night. Then a photo of me, brushing my teeth, one of me sleeping, another in the shower, blurred by fog. Each one had a date scrawled on the bottom, all from the last 2 weeks. I dropped the album. It fell open to a new page. It was blank, except for one Polaroid. A man standing in a pitch-black hallway, head tilted, hands at his side. The caption read, Day 12. Threshold crossed, Day 13. The number appeared everywhere today. On receipts, the microwave timer, the elevator floor I never pressed. Even the blood from a nosebleed this morning dripped in the shape of a crooked 13 on the tile. I tried to leave the building, for good. But when I stepped outside, I was still inside. It looped. No matter which exit I used, the front door, the fire stairs, even the garbage chute, I ended up back in my hallway. Same scratch marks, same smell. Then the lights flickered, and I heard the elevator ding, even though no one lived on my floor but me. It opened. No one inside, except a single shoe. Mine, the left one, burnt around the edges. Day 14. I got an email from myself. Subject, are you ready? Sender, me@me.com. There was no text, just an image attachment. I opened it. It was a photo of me looking straight into the camera, taken from behind me. I spun around, no one there. Then I noticed something else. On my arm, a small black mark, like a smudge. When I scrubbed it, it bled. Not like a wound, more like ink from under the skin. Later that night, the mark changed shape, twisting into a symbol, like a spiral made of thorns. It pulsed when I looked at it too long, like it was alive. Day 15, halfway. The message was painted on my bathroom mirror in something brown-red. Not quite blood, not quite rust. You are halfway. I locked myself in, sat on the floor for hours staring at the wall. Then I heard humming, faint, beautiful, familiar. It was my mother's lullaby, the one she used to sing when I was a child. I followed the sound to the living room. There she was, sitting on the couch, back turned to me, humming, slowly rocking. "Mom," I whispered. She stopped, turned her head, but it wasn't my mother. It had her voice, her clothes, but the smile was wrong. Too wide, too sharp, too pleased. Then it whispered, "You're almost perfect." Day 16. I tried sleeping with all the lights on, but I woke up in total darkness, pitch black, not even the glow of the alarm clock. When I fumbled for my phone, it wouldn't turn on. Instead, a voice whispered from the speaker, "Don't look yet. They're still forming." When the lights finally returned, I saw something new. My reflection was different. Same face, same clothes. But the eyes weren't mine. They blinked out of sync with me. And they were smiling. Day 17. There was a new room in my apartment. I swear on everything. It hadn't been there yesterday. A narrow, windowless hallway had appeared between my bedroom and bathroom. Inside was a door, heavy, wooden, no handle. The number 17 was carved into it, dripping with something black. When I leaned in, I heard sounds, whispered prayers, metal scraping, wet chewing. Then a single voice, low and clear, "Don't open until called." Day 30 requires sacrifice. The door pulsed like a heartbeat. I haven't gone back in. Day 18. I started forgetting words today, common ones. like glass pillow, name. I'd reach for something and my mouth would freeze, unable to label it. Even worse, I began calling things the wrong names. I called the fridge tomb. The window became eye. And I caught myself whispering the word husk while brushing my teeth. At one point, I looked in the mirror and said my full name out loud. It sounded wrong, too clean, too human. Day 19. My neighbors are gone. I knocked on every door on my floor. No answer. I even called the landlord. The line crackled, then dropped. When I checked the mailboxes in the lobby, every slot was empty. Except mine. Inside was a single item, a card, black, embossed. On it was the symbol from my arm. And beneath it, "Don't fear the shedding. The real you is waking up." I went back upstairs. Every hallway light flickered out behind me as I passed one by one. Day 20. I woke up with dirt under my nails and bruises on my legs. There was blood on the carpet, a trail leading to the mystery door in the hallway. And it was open. Inside, the walls were covered in old photographs. All of me. Some from childhood, some recent, some I don't remember posing for. One photo had my eyes scratched out. A mirror stood at the end of the room. I looked in and saw myself, but older, gaunt, grinning, and he spoke in my voice. "You're catching up." Day 21. The briefcase is still here, still empty. I tried to throw it out. Took it down to the dumpster, watched it hit the bottom. When I got back upstairs, it was sitting on my bed. This time, there was a sheet of paper inside. "Deliveries commence soon. Prepare." I stared at it for a long time, heart pounding. The message changed before my eyes, ink shifting like oil in water. Now it read, "You'll make a fine recruiter. Debt spreads best through the desperate." I shut it, but I didn't lock it. Day 22. I didn't sleep last night. Not because I couldn't, but because I heard it. Voices, scratching, pressed right against the walls. I placed my phone on the floor, camera pointed at the vent. Hit record. This morning there were 12 audio files saved. I didn't press anything. Each file was just whispers, different voices, raspy, layered, almost wet, foreign syllables, like they were speaking a language not meant for throats. But every file ended the same way, a long pause, then my name, said perfectly, slowly, sometimes twice, sometimes backwards. Day 23. I can't feel textures anymore. The wood of the table, the fabric of my bed, even water. I touch it all and it's like memory foam. No detail, just resistance. But when I press my hand against the walls, I feel. It's warm, pulsing, not like heat from a vent. It's organic, like there's something on the other side of the plaster, watching, waiting. This afternoon, I pressed my ear to the wall and whispered, "Are you there?" A whisper came back. My own voice, closer than blood. Day 24. The envelope came again. This time, just a single photograph. It was me, seated at a long obsidian desk in a skyscraper I don't recognize. Behind me were giant windows showing a skyline I've never seen. The sky was pale red. There was no sun. I was smiling in the photo, but my eyes weren't mine, and the man in black stood directly behind me, this time in perfect focus, crisp detail. His skin was cracked, like paper, and his mouth was stitched into a smile that stretched too far, curling just past his ears. Day 25. I saw him in the mirror again, not standing behind me, but inside the reflection. He was brushing my hair as I slept, but my sleeping body didn't move. It didn't flinch or resist. It leaned into it. I woke up gasping, heart hammering. Ran to the mirror. There was no one behind me. But the brush lay on the floor, still warm, and on the mirror, written in breath fog, almost there. You're shaping well. Day 26. The city changed. Not all at once. At first, I thought it was just me. Exhaustion. Paranoia. But when I walked outside, the sun was wrong. It hovered too low in the sky, paused like it was caught in hesitation. The light was dim and off color, like it was filtering through spoiled milk. Streets I knew curved in directions they never used to. The old bookstore on 9th is now a stone archway, leading to nowhere. Cars drive silently. No engines, just movement. I asked a woman at a cafe what day it was. She stared through me, smiled, and said, "The days are yours, the minutes are ours. Day 27. I tried to speak today. To someone. To anyone. I approached a police officer, reached out, opened my mouth to ask for help. But my voice didn't come. No sound, just breath. He looked at me and nodded, like he'd heard what I was going to say, then whispered, "It's too late for you. But you already knew that," then walked away. At home, I stood in front of the mirror and shouted. My throat moved. My chest heaved. But no sound emerged. Only silence. Heavy, watching silence. And behind me, in the mirror, the man in black placed a hand on my shoulder. I turned. No one there. But the weight remained. Day 28. An hourglass appeared on my kitchen counter. I don't remember bringing it in. I don't remember ever owning one. But it was there. It stood at least 2 feet tall. Metal frame. Glass carved with symbols I couldn't read, but that made my eyes ache if I stared too long. The sand inside was suspended, frozen in place. Beside it was a single note. Your time is precious, so is ours. Use it well. I tapped the glass once. The sand fell in reverse. Upward, and the room blurred. I swear the ceiling lowered just for a second. I blinked. The sand was still, and so was everything else. Day 29. My phone rang. My own number. I answered. My voice, exactly mine, spoke on the other end. "You promised. Don't run." Then silence. I checked my call history. No record. I tried calling someone, anyone. The phone didn't ring. But the voicemail always started with the same sound. Knock, knock, knock. Then a voice. Not mine. Not anyone I knew. It whispered, "We are ready. So are you." Day 30. 3 a.m. 3 knocks. I didn't answer. The door opened anyway. He entered without hesitation, the man in black. His suit was darker than before, more like a void, swallowing the hallway light behind him. His face was calm, pale, expressionless. But when he spoke, his voice echoed through the apartment like a storm sliding under the door. "It's time. Debt always matures." I begged, I cried, I offered everything. The money, the job, the lifestyle. He just smiled, slowly, like splitting porcelain. A jagged crack stretched from cheek to cheek. "We don't deal in money," he said. "We deal in promise. You've lived richly. Now you must give richly." The walls pulsed, then collapsed inward. Shadows poured in. They weren't empty. They were filled, with voices, with faces, grinning. They reached for me, not to hurt, but to claim. And they pulled me through the floor, through the seams of the apartment, through everything I thought was real. What comes after? There is no time here, no days, no nights, no clocks, only tasks, a desk, a briefcase, a chair molded perfectly to my form, a long black table stretching farther than sight, and a note in front of me. Balance reduced per signature delivered. I knock now. I deliver the envelopes. I find the desperate, the broken, the ones who think rock bottom means silence. I never speak. The paper speaks for me. Each contract I send makes the weight lift. The silence fades, the suit fits, seamless, comfortable. Sometimes I think about stopping, about fighting it. But then I remember, maybe I'll stop when I'm free. Or maybe I'll knock forever. So if you hear a knock at night, find a black envelope waiting, don't sign. And if you do, remember me, because I'll be the one handing it to you.